going to be maybe just a goal in it. It was a question of making sure that we got that particular goal.
Yeah, okay. I have said, of course, you can contact us here. If you're going to use social media, use the hashtag MUTV. Sue Andrews said, so many chances, but wrong final passes. More thought required when passing the ball. Well done on the win, though. Fair.
Yeah, more than fair, I think. They say, well done on the win. Decisions in the final third, yeah.
Okay. This one's coming from NKP 20 times MUFC. We know them well. Good win, hard, but job done. Now on to the Chilean fella. Whoever that is, no idea. Said Osman has said, at Old Trafford, we were far the better team, ended up drawing here. We're not sharp, but we came away with a win. Great goal from Anthony Martial, although I think our passing and movement needs to be quicker.
Yeah, we talked about the first half. There wasn't anything happening too much in the first half. We said their keeper never had anything to do. The back four, we made it easy for Burnley. It was different in the second half. We came out, there was much more urgency about United's play.
Okay, Laura Bryce, or Brycey, as I'm sure she's known. Not our best performance, but solid display from the back four, and a win is a win. That's a very good point. We're not mentioning the back four. Another clean sheet for them.
Yeah, and they did have everything in the kitchen sink thrown up and later on as well, especially, so they stood up to the test, did well. And
Leonid Kuzak sums it all up with hard fought 3 points there, not the best performance, but who cares, because we've got the 3 points. Idris joins us now from Bolton. Idris, good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon. My conclusion is good 3 points, good defensive work, but I think we need to get our attackers being more unselfish. For example, the game against Leicester, we had so many 2v1, 3v2, and we ended up drawing the game. We could have drawn today again. So I think, I don't know what we need to do, but we need to get our attackers to be better when taking their chances.
Okay. Not the clearest line in the world, but if you're talking formation, let me move it on a stage, talk formation. Does that change at all if the Chilean fella joins, or if you get a game like this and then you want to change things up, mix things up, make the passing more fluent? Do you change the formation, or do you think this is where United are at the moment?
No, today there was nothing wrong with the formation. It's about the decisions. You know, the players go out there. It's not that we've created nothing. We've had the opportunity. We've created chances. So whoever's in the team, if you're clinical today and you make the right, you're decisive in the final third, it ends 3 or 4-0.
Before we saw the team selection today, there were question marks as to whether or not it was going to be Luke Shaw, fullback, or Ashley Young. Of course, it was Ashley Young. Luke didn't even play.
Yeah.
Right decision? I mean, you can't really say anything negative about a defender that doesn't concede.
No, Ashley Young did nothing wrong. I think if Luke Shaw played today, I think he would have done equally as well. You know, I don't think there's too much there between them. Just the manager decided to change it back to Ashley Young. He'd been out 3 games ban, so therefore, and he'd done particularly well before that, so I can understand the reason why he brought him back in again. But as was mentioned before, this was about as well the back four, Matic in front as well, the job he does, and it was just great to see. And of course De Gea keeping a blank sheet.
We can hear from one of the back four now. This is Phil Jones. Yeah, Phil Jones, part of course, an excellent defender. How much of that is down to Nemanja Matic, do you think? Because we don't really talk about Matic because he's not there to score goals, and we don't see him as one of the 4 defenders. But the job he does in front of the 4 defenders, protecting them, has been fantastic, hasn't it, since he's come in?
Huge. He's been huge. He silently goes about his business. You know, he gives license to fielders to go forward, but he's always there. You know, where if they're breaking, he'll be trying to slow up play. He's aerially, he's very good as well, and he just puts he puts the block on and helps his centre halves a hell of a lot. So he, silently goes about his business, but he's important. He's brilliant.
I have said, of course, that you can have your say. 161 236 1968 is the number that Olu has decided to phone in and have his say on MUTV. Olu, good evening to you.
Good evening, man.
Hi, Pat. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. Why are they not giving the ball to Lukaku in the first place? You can see some glaring chances why they should have passed the ball to Lukaku. Not only this match, several matches this season. Lukaku is the man of the match, but I think Mourinho should talk to these boys. They should be matured in the way they are playing. They should have cost the 3 points today. They need to sit down and not to be selfish. After the second goal, they can be selfish. They need to give balls to Lukaku. Thank you.
No, thank you. They need to give the ball more to Lukaku. I mean, listen, you've got to feed the striker, and we saw again this afternoon. If he's not scoring, he's creating. But do they need to give him the ball more?
I don't say that. I think Lukaku gets the ball himself a lot. You know what I mean? I think they're all the time looking for him as well. He peels off the back four well. He gets it. He brings it into play. After that, I think it's a little bit more difficult. I've often said that when the ball gets wide, they could put the ball into the box quicker, maybe, for Lukaku to get that chance, because he does get in there quickly. That doesn't particularly happen, but it's not a ball to Lukaku. I think what he's talking about there is maybe one or two of the chances that happen when we had 3v2 situations, and Lukaku possibly could have received it and didn't get it. But that was what we said earlier, by the person on the ball maybe going himself instead of doing the pass.
OK, Olaf, I hope that answers your question. Raymond is up next. Raymond, good evening.
Hello, good evening, boys.
I've
got one question, but I've also got to make a statement. Every time, whoever's in the studio, and I'm not blaming Kevin and Danny, but whoever's in the studio, they frequently, if not often, more often, they'll say, oh, it's always tough going there. I mean, every ground we go to, you boys always come out with a statement, oh, it's always tough there. And yet, I'm thinking particularly today, in fact, I've heard it from so many people. I'm not sure whether it came from your end or whether it came from the commentary. It's always tough. Well, I just had a look and I noticed Liverpool didn't find it tough. They won 2-1. Arsenal won 1-0. And Spurs really hit them 3-0. So it's not tough going to Burnley. I think we do too much defending of our boys instead of saying we should have won. Well, we have said we should have won today, but we should say it more often and find out why we don't win. And today what was clear was that they were making the wrong decisions. And what I want to ask you two guys, how can you teach somebody, or can you teach somebody, or is it only inbuilt, how to make the right decision? Because from the radio commentary today, which is what I listened to on MU, I can't tell you the times they were saying wrong decision, wrong decision. They passed the ball the wrong place, or they were shooting when they shouldn't have been shooting. So how do you teach or train a player to make the right decision? That's really my question.
Okay. We'll start with that one and then we'll go to the other one if we've got time.
Yeah. As regards teaching a player, it's up to the player himself. You know what I mean? The reason why they're playing at this level is because they have the intelligence. They should have the intelligence to know what to do when they get the ball. Either they go it themselves, they pass it, or whatever. That's what it's all about. They have the vision at that level to be able to make the right decision. So it's not about teaching a player too much of that. At this level, they should know. It's a bad decision-making in some ways when they go to shoot themselves, they think the opportunity is there for the shot, and possibly it might have been a better decision to have passed it.
OK. Danny, I'm guessing you've played the turf more?
Yeah, I played a couple
Why
times
is it
there.
a nasty place to play at?
I think it's just one of, it's an old school ground. The fans always get on top of you, but ultimately on the pitch, Burnley's team, especially under Sean Dyche, they're very industrious. And it's tough because you have to work hard physically before you can get the ball down and play. Whereas other teams will try and match you just by playing. Burnley, you've got to win the battle for the full 95 minutes.
And also, let's not forget, we're talking about a side that have got, points against all the big six, be it home or away. They're 7th or they're 8th now for a reason, aren't they? Because they're a really good team and difficult to break down.
Of course they are. And, you mentioned Arsenal going there, Liverpool going there. Everybody knows when United go anywhere, everybody raises the game, even more so. And, take it or leave it, but that's a fact. When United go anywhere, people raise the game. So it's a very difficult one.
There you go, Raymond. I hope that answers your question.